जब तू रो मैं हूँ soundless sound. When you rise, I'll cheer so loud. तेरे हर कदम पे मैं हूँ proud. तू मेरा नूर है, तू मेरा प्यार है. ನನ್ನ ಸ್ನೇಹಗೀತೆ. You're the hope I hold each night. My child, my world, my heart still light. हलीमा हलीमा, एक शिक्षक दिल से प्यारी, प्रकृति की सुंदरता से हर पल वो हारी. चाहे दुनिया हो प्यार से भरी, जहाँ हर बच्चा सीखे खुलकर बेफिक्री. हलीमा हलीमा, टीचर full of grace. Nature's magic brings a smile to her face. She dreams of a world where love is the way, where children learn, laugh and freely play. حليمة حليمة معلمة بقلب النقي، تلهمت بيا صباح ومساء بلا شكل. تحلم على العالم يملؤه السلام، حيث يتعلم الأطفال في حبه وياه. दिल की आवाज सुनो जरा, अब है समय प्यार का. शांति हर कोने में हो यही सपना. ना आंसू ना डर, बस अपनापन. Listen to the voice of the heart. Now's the time for love to start. Peace in every room, let's make it true. No more pain, just kindness through and through. Listen to the voice of the heart. Now's the time for love to start. Peace in every room, let's make it true. No more pain, just kindness through and through. استمعوا لصوت القلب في السماء. هلأنا وقت الحب، لا للبكاء. السلام في كل مكان نريده. एक शिक्षक की मुस्कान है रोशनी, जो दिखाए रास्ते अंधेरों में भी. Their words like a whisper to a growing mind, shaping dreams with love so kind. Oh, teacher, you're the light we follow, filling hearts with hope for tomorrow. आपके कदमों में पे है दुनिया की बात, changing lives with every thought path. छोटी सी बात से बड़ी बात बनाए, इनसेंस को सपनों से मिलवाए. They lift us up when we fall to the ground, spreading wisdom all around. In their silence we hear a melody, a lesson of life, a mystery. With patience they paint a brighter hue, colors of a future that feels so true. Oh, teacher, you're the light we follow, filling hearts with hope for tomorrow. आपके कदमों में पे है दुनिया की बात, teaching lives with every thought. Get out, let's take the chance. Oh yeah, to the frontier, let's make it dance. AI's the key, unlock the door. Super amazing, we want more. AI crew, feel the heat, move your body, do the beat. Super amazing, all the way. You can play every day. Think and laugh, ideas flow. Ooh, together we shine, watch us glow. Yeah, yeah. Magic makes us fly, reaching higher, touch the sky.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the AI Summit. My name is Aditi, and I'm honored to be your host for this transformative learning experience. For those joining us today for the first time, Mr. Willibrod George is an innovative school leader who built tech-enabled, student-driven system in affordable schools near Mumbai. He has led initiatives that empower students with voice and agency and is nationally recognized for his contribution to educational innovation. So, before we begin, a quick reminder for the session norms. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the session. Share your reflection and question in the chat box. Stay until the end to catch all key takeaways and announcements. So, today's theme is smart prompting. We'll explore how asking better questions can lead to better AI responses. Sir, over to you.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and a very happy Holi for those of you who are celebrating it today. And I think they're also celebrating it tomorrow. So, today we are going to be learning a lot about ChatGPT and also about prompting. So, yeah, good evening, Rui, and a couple of other people. I'm seeing about 50 odd people, all of you. So quickly use the chat box and tell me where are you logging in from, like which city? And also, I would want to know what exactly do you do? Like, are you a teacher? Are you a supervisor? Are you principal? Are you admin? Like, give me more clarity. Okay, so that'll really help me. And if you're saying you're a teacher, also just mention grades and stuff like that. That will really, really kind of help me. Okay. So, yep, we have a teacher from Kalyan. We have a teacher. Okay. Teaching English. All right. Special educator. That's cool. So we should do something around special ed as well. Secondary maths teacher. Okay. Okay. Principal from Thane. All right. Brilliant. And Japal. Oh, yes. Podar School. And we have TGT Science 9th and 10th. Okay, I'm a coordinator. Say somebody, Bangalore, independent educator. Okay. Okay, we have Shali Sharma, who's also teaching in pre-primary. Okay, cool. Freya PRT taking classes in science. So we have a lot of science people in the room today. It looks like that. And we have also some pre-primary teachers. Okay. How many people are responsible here in order to make lesson plans? I just want to understand, like, do you get lesson plans made by other people, or are you expected to make lesson plans? That would be really good for us to understand. So Rohi is saying, I prepare lesson plans. Okay. Abhishek Goyal is saying, I prepare lesson plans. All right. And I'm preparing. And we also make our own. We make our own. Yes, I prepare lesson plans. Okay, cool. Good. Now, can you let me know? I need to review plans. Okay, that means some of your teachers or someone is making lesson plans and you need to review that. And when you review that, like I'm kind of assuming that you tell them what the errors are and you ask them to improve on it or change it or or things like that, right? I need to review and share inputs. That's actually such a cool thing. Cool. Okay. So definitely these are some things that we want to be able to show you and teach you. I share scope of improvements. Okay. Now, for anyone who has who are making lesson plans, could you quickly put in the chat any format or sections of your lesson plan that you can put in? Yeah, any format. Okay, so Abhishek is saying 5E, which is very cool. Nidhi Wadhwa is saying topic. Oh, so Madhu says SDG goals. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's a lot of work. And teaching objective, learning objectives. Oh, teaching objectives and learning objectives. These are written differently. All right, let's figure out what that is. I know it's come from two different people. Learning objectives, outcomes. Okay. Teaching methodology. Shesta says teaching methodology. Then B.Ed methodology. I don't know what is B.Ed methodology. Is it that set induction and materials used? Uh, hmm. My B.Ed was a long time ago. Something like that. Subject integration. Okay. When you mean subject integration, you mean how does the topic you're teaching today in one subject, how does it connect with another subject? Is that what you mean by subject integration? Smart goals. Meena Bhatia is saying smart goals. All right. So is it measurable? Yeah, specific, measurable. Okay, cool. Topic to be covered. Learning objectives. Yeah, Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, that's interesting. And at the end, somewhere you need to put a recapitulation. Okay, I get it. Cool. So you know what? You guys are all using all these things, and I don't think you need to be. I don't think we need to get too much into the basics. But I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to show you. Abhishek Goyal is saying the five E's are. Let me bring this up for everyone to see. 5 E's are experimental cycle simplified to 3C, which is connect, conduct, and conclude. Okay, so under conclude, you've got evaluation, conduct may explore. Oh, okay, got it. That's an easier way because 5E, I was like, what's the first E? All right. 4C, what's 4C now? Is it creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking? I'm not so sure. It could be anything. All right. So good. Thank you, Roy. So these things are everything that you've put in right now inside your lesson plan is when you're making your lesson plan, that these are the things that you want inside your lesson plan, right? These are the things you want. It's like saying that I know the ingredients that I need to use when I'm making a dish. That's it. Okay. These are the components, these are the ingredients. And we need to now use these components and these ingredients when we're actually making the lesson plan. Okay. So let me just bring my screen up and let me just show you. This is ChatGPT. And maybe my maybe my screen doesn't, yeah, so don't bother with me whether I'm clear or not clear and all. It just really doesn't matter. Okay. What matters is you should be able to see my screen, and that is important. And I want to check if I can dictate so that we don't waste time. Allow this time. Checking. I want to see if you're able to hear my voice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, got it. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first trick that you should use when you are using ChatGPT, right? Remember, when we went on Meta yesterday, all of us were trying to make prompts. And I was like, make big prompts, right? Because when you make bigger prompts, it's easier for us to be able to give more context in order for the machine to understand what we're talking about. So one of the ways that we can give more context and make our prompts better is by actually really talking about it rather than typing, because most of us can talk faster than we can type. So a couple of things that you want to take into consideration, and let me see if I can just put it up on my screen. For that, I'll just bring myself up first. And I will tell you a few things that I think about when I'm making a prompt. First, I think about a role. Then I think about you know, um, like framework. Okay. Then I think about a task. Then I might think about what? I might think about um, mm, I could think about what kind of what's my output like? You know, what does a good output look like? Okay. Um, then I could think about format if I want. Okay. So just for fun, think about it these ways. And I've brought it up on screen right now so you can actually see it. So every time I'm actually making a prompt, and there are so many formats, just go online, ask Meta, what are the different formats? But this is like just something that I'm sharing with you. You ask me tomorrow, I'll give you a different one. I'm always thinking about role. क्या role होना चाहिए, right? And I'll tell you now. I'm thinking about framework. कि कुछ framework है क्या? 5E, 3C, 4C. All that is a framework, right? Bloom's taxonomy framework, existing knowledge. Okay. Then I'm thinking about tasks. Like, what is it that I want the AI to do? Remember, ChatGPT is LLM. LLM is the AI. AI knows everything that is there on the internet, and I am going to use that so that that works like my assistant. I need to do X, so I need to find a way to use ChatGPT to do that X for me. But then again, I don't use ChatGPT to do the whole work. Okay, always use your assistant only to do other काम, right? Don't think of getting the whole thing to be done by AI, because AI hasn't got there yet. And so you need to break down your tasks and your activities to be able to kind of just do little by little by little by little, and then you kind of assemble everything together. And that is how things happen. Then you want to work on then you want to tell it to do for the output. Like it could do a task, and then that output could be in a particular way, style, method, document, and you can also give it some sort of format. So we're going to figure this out. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can give you a live example right now about something like that. All right, so if I do not forget everything I told you, then we should have a pretty cool prompt. But the way I will be dictating it now does not bring up the prompt on the screen. Now, what I mean is, if I use a phone, I could do voice typing, and every word that I say, I could see it. But now when I'm going to, because I'm using it on my desktop, every word that I say, I will not see. I'll just see a weird waveform. So we'll have to remember. Okay. So I am a teacher in India. I teach in a school which is a CBSE school, and I teach grade ninth, and I teach science, and I need to teach children about wait, let me see if this is coming through. In the meanwhile, great science teacher, give me one topic. Okay, this thing is coming through. Give me a topic, great science, ninth standard, CBSE. Magnetism. Okay, let's do magnetism. Magnetism. Let's see if it's getting added. It's getting added. Yeah, okay. Subtopic properties of magnets. Okay. With the emphasis on the subtopic of the properties of a magnet, the school is a CBSE school. We have 40 children in our class. Most children are good in English, but the class is about one grade lower when it comes to English. The class has a LED screen. It has got internet, and we have a library. We have a couple of books. We are using uh, NCRT textbooks to teach this particular subject. The period is about 40 minutes, and my children are very happy doing group activities. They like to crack problems. They like to think. They like to do things like quizzes. They like to be participative and engaged learners. They like to make noise in the class. They want to talk and learn. They're not the kind of kids who would like to just sit and learn. Um, I want you to be an absolute expert in this subject. I want you to have, I want you to be somebody who has 50 years teaching this particular topic in this particular kind of school. This is a school in Haryana, North India. And I want you to be somebody who's an expert at teaching language, instructional language, someone who knows the Bloom's taxonomy very well, somebody who understands the 5E method of education or lesson planning, somebody who also understands um, the NCRT's or the NEP's expectations from a teacher. They ask us to do things like GRR, which is gradual release of responsibility format, in which there is an I do, you do, and a we do. Our format needs to be fairly simple in the sense that we would need to get, you can maybe have the top part of the lesson plan. It could have the title, the subtopic, and you could give me an objective which could be written in the format of students will be able to and dash 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 add one or two objectives. But every time you add an objective, I need you to put a particular code next to the objective, and the code has to be in the following format. It should be grade 9 hyphen science hyphen chapter 3 hyphen name of the chapter is magnetism hyphen, and for each objective, you give it a number like 01 or 02, so that I can, in the future, when I create all the lesson plans across all the chapters, I will have all the lesson objectives for science, and I'll be able to create report cards and mark sheets based on that. That'll be very interesting. Also, while you're doing this, I want you to think about CFU, which is check for understanding, such that while I'm teaching the subject, between each of these sections, you need to have a CFU so that I can do some sort of assessment of learning as I am teaching the subject. I also want to make sure that while I'm teaching the subject, we are also checking for prior knowledge. So can we start with 2, 3, 4 questions which I can use for prior knowledge? And the thing is, like, I don't know if my kids are going to be able to answer those, but if you could also give me some sort of an answer guide in terms of if the kids answered this, then I know that where they are on the, on the private, on the prior knowledge for these kids. Also, I was thinking, since you're doing this prior knowledge thing, Just before I start, is there a way for me to give a very exciting hook? This hook needs to hold on to their attention, and it could be either an image or a joke or a news article or a question that makes them think. As a school, we also believe in the SDG, so I want to make sure that kids are learning about the SDG as well. So, if you could take this lesson and this topic and figure out what SDG um, goal I can connect to this, that could be something that you could bring out and show me. What I also want to do is, while you're creating this lesson plan, could you also create like a little bit of teacher training material? Maybe 10, 15 numbered sentences which cover two, three things. One, if 5 sentences could cover the content knowledge, so that as a teacher, I can kind of brush up my own skills in terms of the content. Two, if you can come up with some performative aspects of teaching in terms of when I'm teaching this particular thing, how would a absolute master expert teacher create the experience in a classroom? What would he or she say, and what can I say? That could be something that would be really helpful for me. And also, if you can give me a table of misconceptions, for example, since you're a teacher with 50 to 100 years of experience teaching this, you would have understood how many misconceptions children have. So, could you give me like a list of 2 or 3 misconceptions that children may have um, uh, about this particular topic, especially properties of magnetism? The reason I'm asking this is because I can approach the misconceptions very easily and clearly, and so that if I can make sure that the misconceptions are sorted, then I think the concept clarity should not be much of a problem. Yeah, and oh yeah, as a teacher, I kind of want to understand. Most of my kids are very comfortable in Hindi, so keywords or key concepts, if you could also share it with me in Hindi, that would be something that I could just read off straight away, and that might be able to at least make the concept more accessible for children. Having said that, could you write this lesson plan in a simple structured way whereby I can I can just read. Can you give me the dialogues, like a teacher dialogue, as if I'm an actor in a play and these are my lines? Can you give me my dialogues in clear, direct instructional method? So um this is something that I would love to do. So yeah, someone's saying that you might probably not be able to remember all this. So I'm just going to stop now and I want to see if you'll be able to do it. Go ahead and ask me any questions you think that you need before you can start this particular task. Okay, let's see, Smriti, if that works. Good, you told me I've gone on till 6 o'clock. All right. So everything that I said here hopefully has come here. And what I've actually asked it to do right now is I've asked it to ask me questions before it actually starts working on the problem. Okay. So there is a possibility. Nidhi is asking, is this a prompt? Yeah, that's a prompt. A brain dump, right? So I used all my knowledge that I have, and I asked it to use that. And it has to be so detailed. Yes, the more details, the better. But Smriti is also right, right? Sometimes too much detail may not be helpful. We'll see if that actually works. So here's the answer that it has worked, that it has worked on. First of all, it was supposed to ask me questions, but it didn't. But let us all examine what we are going to do. So Swati is saying you can use custom instructions or when you're making things which are repetitive. That's actually true. You can really use, you can do things like custom instructions, so it'll remember who you are. And there are a lot of things that can be done. But in the case of a lesson plan, what I would recommend is making a custom GPT entirely. But that's for another day. Let's check what the result looks like here. Lesson plan, grade 9, CBSE. Subject science, chapter magnetism. Subtopic, here prompts play important role. When I'm using, I'm fed up with getting exactly what I want. Okay. Yeah. So class profile, 40 learners, talkative, group friendly, about 1 grade lower in English. Resources, NCRT textbook. NCRT textbook. So I'm just going to the NCRT textbook website. I'm going to science and I'm going to pick up, well, science. And I'm going to pick up chapter 1 and I'm going to look for chapter 1. If it's not too long, I'm going to try and download it. I'm going to say NCERT 9 Science Chapter 1. All right, I'm just going to save that up here and then I'm going to come back to that. Okay. Objectives with codes. Remember, I asked it to give me an objective with a code. So SWBAT stands for students will be able to, okay, students will be able to identify and explain key properties of magnets, attraction, poles, directive property, repulsion, using correct terms. Code G9 Science Chapter 3 Magnetism 01. Imagine if you do lesson plans for your entire textbook, every chapter, and you did something like this. At the end of the year, you get a table with 200 or 300 lesson objectives, which you can then bring back into your classroom progress report cards, and you're able to create traffic light progress report card for all your children. Red, orange, green, absolutely stunning. Now, SWBAT, that means students will be able to test and classify material as magnetic or non-magnetic using a simple investigation and record evidence. All right. Success criteria. These are what you're going to tell students, right? You're going to say, hey, students, you are going to be able to name at least 4 properties of a magnet. All right. You are going to be able to prove a claim using a quick test and evidence. And you're going to be able to explain why magnets have 2 poles and what happens when we cut a magnet. All right. So this is the prior knowledge needed, and I'm going to check you for your prior knowledge. PK question 1. Which material do you think a magnet attracts? Iron, copper, plastic, aluminum, or steel? So if children, this is like stuff that it will help a teacher. If many say all metals, that means they are over generalizing and they need correction. Okay, if they pick iron and steel correctly, they are ready for the investigation quickly. If they say only iron, good start. You can extend to steel and alloys, which have ferrous or iron in it as well. Okay, so that's a great way for a teacher to kind of dipstick and for a teacher to be able to start seeing, does my child actually know things that are required for he or she to learn before or to know before coming into the class. All right. So what does the answer tell you, right? So here's the next question. If I bring 2 magnets close, can they always attract? Okay. Surabhi's like, could you please like download this and then share it in the group and stuff like that? Okay. I'm just going to copy it and find our group. Where's our group, guys? We have cohort SAR masterclass, right? Is that our group? Okay. It's in the group. So you don't have to wait for me to finish reading it. You can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. So, and here's the prior question number 3. What does a compass needle do and why? Cool. So if they say it points north only, that is surface knowledge. But if they say Earth acts like a magnet, strong readiness for directive property is ready. Okay. Now here's the CFU, which is a check for understanding after the prior knowledge check. Thumb vote 1, unsure, whatever. Okay. So that is something that we've done. Now this is the hook. So it's giving me a hook in a hook story plus image video idea where I can use it on an LED screen. Show a short clip or image of a magnet crane at a scrapyard lifting iron waste, or as a magnetic separator on a recycling belt. Teacher line. Here's the exact dialogue that my teacher can follow. Exact dialogue, right? Do you know how powerful this is? tomorrow when one of your teachers is absent and she was supposed to teach magnetism, you don't know, you can send the PT sir and you can ask the PT sir, sir, मुझे मालूम है कि आपको magnetism नहीं आता है और आपको ये सिखाने के लिए नहीं आता है, but my lesson plan has the exact dialogue. At least just follow the script. Tell kids you don't know and follow the script. We can still get some learning that can happen. So today we will catch an invisible force doing real work in a scrapyard. Nobody sorts metal by hand. A magnet does it in seconds. Your job is to become a magnet detective. Your job is to become magnet detectives and explain what rules magnets follow. Okay, cool. This is a thinking question. If magnets can separate iron from waste, how could that help a city stay cleaner and safer? Okay, here's your SDG connection. SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Magnets help in recycling and separating metals, reducing landfill waste and saving resources. Here's your one line of a student's. Okay, better recycling means less mining waste. Magnets are quiet helper of SDG number 12. All right, here's your 5E lesson flow. Engage, what you would do. Teacher dialogue. Eyes on the magnet, guys. No touching yet. First, predict which item will jump and why. Now I test it. Watch closely. Here's your CFU. Explore. Teacher dialogue. Differentiation. How do you help kids with different needs? Explanation. Here's your I do, and what exact I do is what the teacher is going to do. Okay, so you got that. Here's the teacher dialogue for the I do. Then there's the CFU. Then here's the teacher dialogue for the we do. I think you'll jump into the we do and the CFU. And then there's an elaborate section, teacher dialogue again. There's an evaluate section, teacher dialogue again. And here's a misconception table, right? So this tells us that misconceptions students may have. Magnets attract all metals. That could be a misconception. Okay. Why that happens is because they see metal equal to magnetic, MM, in daily talk. Okay. Or the quick fix activity is test a copper coin. Copper is also a metal. Aluminum foil is also a metal. Steel, paper, clip. So test it. And the corrective script that a teacher could use is magnetic is not the same as metallic. Many metals are non-magnetic. We trust the test. All right. So this sort of gets the teacher to say exactly what the child can remember so that the child, all right. So there's another misconception. If something sticks to a magnet, it must be a magnet. All right. That's crazy, right? If I take Fevicol and put it on a magnet, Fevicol is not magnetic. Okay. Cutting a magnet gives a north piece and a south piece. Simple. They imagine poles are separate substances. Cut demonstration or diagram. Poles come as a pair. When you cut a magnet, each piece forms its own north and south. Very cool, right? Key vocabulary in Hindi. Magnet, chumbak, magnetic, chumbakiya. Non-magnetic, achumbakiya. Pole, dhruv, North Pole, Uttar Dhruv. Okay. So here is all the Hindi words that you may require when you teach this particular subject. Teacher dialogue script. Today we will catch an invisible. So there's a whole teacher dialogue script over here. There's a mini teacher training material for this particular class. Simple. Content refresh. This is for the teacher. 5 sentences that the teacher needs to know before she walks into that class, right? So a magnet attracts certain materials strongly, mainly iron and many steels. Every magnet has 2 poles. Poles always exist as a pair. Like poles repel, unlike poles attract. Repulsion is the sure test of magnetism because ordinary iron will not repel a magnet. A freely suspended magnet aligns roughly north-south because Earth behaves like a giant magnet, all right? So the craft of teaching performance. Okay, so here's some information that your PD teacher can get when he's going in to try and stand in for a teacher who's absent. So it's pretty cool. And here there's optional homework. So as you can see, that big long prompt that I put in got me this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to think about it and go through it in the WhatsApp group or whatever. put some questions here, and I would love to, to find out what is it that you guys think. So put some questions in the, put some, may not be questions, but put some thoughts that you have. What do you think? Any questions? Anything? And I could then bring it up over here. Okay. So Sudha said, your long prompt included all of us. Okay. Yeah, it did. Okay. So let me make this color a little better to read. Okay. Yeah. So what do you think of that particular prompt? What do you think about the quality of the output? I would love to hear that from you. So yeah.
You came to me, in light. In your smile, the stars took flight. The world is loud, the world is wild. But in my arms, you're just my child. I teach you love, I hold your fears. I come
Abhishek Goyal is asking, can we add the Howard
but take your
Project Zero's thinking routine and split it up into 5 periods and must follow the 5E experimental cycle? All right.
तू मेरा प्यार इस दुनिया में बस तू ही यार है हर मोड़ पे हर सांस में मैं हूँ तेरे साथ जीवन के राग में
All right. So that's what I'm actually doing right now.
ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಬೆರೆದಂತೆ
So I said, make this in the Harvard Project Zero thinking, and it's trying to do that right now. Okay. So it's now based on Harvard Project Zero. It's now given me 5 learning objectives, and period 1, exactly what to do. Thinking routine, see, think, wonder. Exactly what to do. Exactly what to do in period 1. Exactly what to do period 2. And it's giving me period 3, period 4. Yes. So Abhishek, it's happening. Okay. So Veena's saying it's a time saver. So were you able to see how we got the role? Were you able to see how we got it to think about a task? Were you able to see how we got it to look at data from other places? And were you able to see how we were able to think about what our system is? Yeah. So if I have a system, if I want to, the different problems that I have, right? I may have problems in teacher training. I may have problems in creating content. I may have problems in, in creating exams. I may have problems in um, the coaching of teachers, right? I may have all these problems. Now, how I try to solve these multiple problems while I'm just doing the lesson plan, okay? So that is something that you were able to see. So let's see if we can do other fun stuff. I am now I now downloaded the I think we just about downloaded. I don't know what we downloaded. And yeah, NCRT chapter 1. So I have now downloaded this textbook and I say, read this, read this and give me, okay, read this and give me the topics and subtopics, okay, the topics and subtopics from chapter 1. So I've uploaded my NCRT textbook right now, the PDF of the NCRT textbook, and I've said, read it and give me the topics and the subtopics of chapter 1. Okay. And it's now given me the topics and the subtopics of chapter 1. All right. Now I can ask it anything, right? I could ask it, give me a lesson plan to teach this, give me a breakup to teach this, give me a class test to teach this. Okay. Okay. Now why is this not happening? Now I'm in the CBSE marking system. I'm trying to download the exam blueprint, but I can't. Okay. I got the exam blueprint here. Let's open the exam blueprint and see what they have. Oh, this is a marking scheme. Okay, this is a marking scheme. Yeah. Cool. Evaluation policy I'm looking for an exam blueprint. Does anyone have an exam blueprint? Like what should be the, how many marks this and how many marks that? This is like a marking scheme, which is okay, which is fine. Let's use this. Okay. So I'm going to use one of this. Now, we now got from the textbook, we picked up chapter 1 and we asked it to Google. Now I can bring this marking system here and say, use the marking scheme and based on it, draft a class test question paper for this chapter. All right. So obviously it'll find it difficult, but it's just an example for you to see that how you're able to download material of the internet. So I've asked it. So I first gave it chapter 1, and then I told it, then I went back to the CBSE website and I downloaded their evaluation marking scheme. And then I told them, based on the evaluation and marking scheme, now use that formula to try and give me a whole question paper, but only for chapter 1, which is crazy because you should be able to download the whole textbook, which you can, by the way, from the NCRE website. You can download the complete book, as you can see here. This is the complete book. I just downloaded chapter 1, okay? So you can do all that. And now it is giving me section A MCQ, 1 into 8 marks. Then there's assertion response. What happened? Can you please share this also in the group? Share what exactly? You want the output of this? Cool. I'll give you the output of this. I hope that's what you're asking. Just, Veena, just clarify what you're asking so that I can do what you want. Okay, so it's given me a 25 mark, 40-minute exam. The pattern uses section-wise CBSE style MCQ, VSA, essay, and competency based. And it's given me MCQs. And then it's given me question 7 is assertion based. Okay, assertion reasoning questioning. And then section B is very short answer, 2 into 4 into 8. Okay, so 2 into 4 is 8. So 2 and 4. Okay. 4 questions, 2 marks. All right. So with 4 questions and 2 marks, this is the next next section. All right. And then section C, short answers. That's 3 into 2. So 3 marks, 2. And section D is competency-based questions. Downloading NCRT, textbook, ICSE. Brilliant. I love it. I just love the way you wrote it. Yeah, you get to work straight away. So yeah, thoughts, guys. Tell me, what ideas are you getting? What can you do? And how can you do this? Okay. So let me redraft this. Redraft this to 10 MCQ questions, 10 MCQ questions only. All right, there you go. So I have redrafted it to 10 MCQ questions. All right. A book or a you have a book or a paper? You have a one minute. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah. Okay, so now as a teacher, the stuff you can do with ChatGPT is insane, right? So, all right. So now all of us can see that it's giving me an MCQ test only. Okay. So now I'm literally taking a pen and a paper. Okay, pen and paper. And I'm writing my name on top. I'm saying George, roll number 56. Insane. Now, let us look at the first MCQ. Matter is made up of, question 1. Matter is made up of B. Question 2. Evidence that particles of matter are continuously moving is best known by. Okay, B. Question 3. Which state of matter has fixed shape and fixed volume? Solid. Question 4. Which state of matter is highly compressible? Gas. Question 5. The process of change of state from solid to liquid is called solid to liquid. It's probably melting, but I'll probably write sublimation. Question 6. Boiling is different from evaporation because boiling happens at a fixed temperature throughout the liquid. Acha? Happens only on the surface. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say happens only on the surface. Question 7. Evaporation is a bulk phenomena or a surface phenomena or a process happening only in gases. Acha. Process that releases heat into the surrounding. Acha. Bulk phenomena happened. So I'm going to write bulk phenomena happening at a boiling point. Which factor will increase the rate of evaporation most? Is it high humidity, low temperature, larger surface area, or no wind? Which factor will increase the rate of evaporation? Maybe no wind? I don't know. Next one. Cooling during evaporation happens because particles gain heat from surroundings to explain. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Question 10. Increasing pressure on a gas at subtle temperature can change it into, I'm going to say plasma. All right. And now I'm going to ask it, I have now written the answers, just like the way a kid would write the answers. I have now written these answers, and I can literally now just take a photograph of this. Okay. So not just MCQ, you can take a photograph of anything. All right. Anything. You can take a photograph of any examination that a child would have written. Okay. So here it is. I've taken a photo of it and I'm going to say, correct this child George paper now. Give personalized feedback. Okay. State strengths. State learning gaps. Okay. Write short motivational message for the parent in Hindi. Show show understanding. Okay. So I have now just put a prompt, and you'll be able to see it here. If I show you again, you'll be able to see it here because I kind of jumped onto my phone. Okay. And okay. And you will now see, let me see if I can show you what ChatGPT has done. All right. So this is the paper that I wrote. All right. And yeah, Swati, I'll just send you the link. The link is this / SAR AI WhatsApp group. Okay, that's the link. Now, this is exactly the question paper that I did now. And as I said, it need not just be an MCQ. It could be quantitative data, it could be qualitative, it could be handwritten, it could be messy handwritten, it could be anything, which now means that you can ask kids to write anything and you can kind of just take a photograph. Yeah. And this is what I said. I said, correct this child George's paper right now, give personalized feedback, state the strengths, state learning gaps, write short motivational message for the parent in Hindi, show understanding. George, roll number 56, chapter 1, matter in our surroundings, MCQ test, 10 marks, correction. 1 correct, 2 correct, 3 correct, 4 correct, 5 incorrect, 6 incorrect, 7 incorrect, 8 incorrect, 9 correct, 10 incorrect. Score 5 out of 10. Personalized feedback for George. Strengths, what you did well. Strong basics or states of matter. You correctly identified questions on solids, gases, and comprehensibility. Compressibility. Good understanding of particles and movement. You got the diffusion idea right. Clear concept of cooling by evaporation. You answered Q9 correctly, which shows you understanding that, which shows you understand heat absorption during evaporation. Learning gaps. What to fix next. Evaporation is boiling. So I got confused between evaporation and boiling. Evaporation versus boiling. Boiling happens at a fixed temperature and throughout the liquid, bubbles form. Evaporation happens at the surface and can happen at any temperature. Factors affecting evaporation is something that I couldn't get. You chose no wind, but wind increases evaporation because it removes water vapor from the surface. Pressure and change of state. Question number 10. You need to remember increasing pressure can turn a gas into a liquid. Melting term, solids into liquid is melting or fusion. What George should do next? Make one small chart in the notebook. Evaporation, surface, any temperature, causing cooling, boiling, bulk, Memorize the evaporation factors, surface area, temperature, wind speed, and humidity. Short motivational message for the parent in Hindi. प्रिय अभिभावक, जॉर्ज ने इस टेस्ट में कुछ बहुत अच्छे कॉन्सेप्ट सही किया है, खासकर स्टेट्स ऑफ मैटर और इवेपोरेशन से कूलिंग वाला भाग। अब अभी उसे बॉइलिंग और इवेपोरेशन का फर्क, इवेपोरेशन को बढ़ाने वाले फैक्टर्स और प्रेशर से स्टेट चेंज वाले हिस्से में थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस की जरूरत है। अगर घर पर 10 मिनट रोज छोटे छोटी एग्जाम्पल्स और 1-2 चार्ट्स के साथ रिवीजन हो जाए तो जॉर्ज जल्दी इंप्रूव करेगा। जॉर्ज में समझने की क्षमता अच्छी है, बस कॉन्सेप्ट क्लैरिटी को थोड़ा मजबूत है। ऑलराइट, सो देयर यू गो। सो यू एक्चुअली got a response to this, and you see how you're able to use ChatGPT in order for you to do, digitize homework, check books, check exam papers, create exam papers, give blueprints, plan based on a framework, plan based on a blueprint. Okay. So yeah, that's literally how you can use ChatGPT and prompting. But today's session is not about using ChatGPT, but just kind of learning how to prompt, getting comfortable with thinking, because it's the thinking that is necessary. It's a thinking that is leading you to the prompt, right? It is how are you showing up and presenting yourself before AI? Yeah. How are you thinking about the problem? How do you, how do you envision the solution? And then how are you able to beautifully um, use AI as your assistant and then kind of extract things out of it, right? So that is something that we wanted to share with you today. Just small, simple examples. You can download things, you can upload things, you can ask things, you can ask it to check, you can ask it to verify as a teacher, or as a coordinator, you could upload another teacher's this thing and say, give it feedback, tell me what you can change in it. So there are just so many things that you could do if you just start thinking about it and then start putting it. So really what you need to do is practice, 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 and more practice. If you're able to use the voice typing on your phone, then you can really get a lot of things done. So I hope these examples were helpful for you. I hope these examples, yeah, it's got to be structured. Correct, Ritu Prana. Yeah, that's true. It's got to be structured. You got to order your thought and create structure. And if you haven't really structured your thoughts before going to ChatGPT, that's also fine. You could just go to ChatGPT and you can, or Gemini or Grok or whatever, Perplexity or Claude, and you can say, hey, these are all the crazy things on my mind right now. I can't see a structure in it. Can you give me some structure to my thoughts? Okay. So you can say things like that. Yeah, you can do things like that. You can ask it to see if it can see any structure in something that's seamlessly all over the place and not without structure, right? So Veena saying while creating visual images, it forgets. As we go forward during the masterclass over the next 7 more days, we have sessions around that as well. So we will work on it. Use the chat box, use the WhatsApp group that we have in order for you to share all these things. And I will, I will also be able to help you. So Nancy Sharma saying, I want to ask you something related to today. Go for it, Nancy. If we create a video in the Meta app to show it to children, how can we insert voice into it? You can't. You can't insert voice into a Meta video. However, you can download a Meta video and then bring it to Canva or bring it to any other editing app. I think Filmora, InVideo, there's just so many editing apps that are available on your phone. You can just like bring that video that you created in Meta, and then you could actually you can even use the Edits app on Instagram. Then you can bring it in, and once you bring that in, then you can do a voiceover, and you're able to create a video. Yeah, InShot also can do it. Yeah. Veena, Google Flow is a slightly more advanced concept. I think we may or may not do that, but maybe towards the end, we may figure out how to show you because that's got to do with integrations, creating simple workflows and things like that. Yeah. Nidhi is asking, are we going to do hands-on on Canva? It's not really planned for the session, but we can figure it out. There's just so much in AI and there's so much in technology. So yeah, this you're already doing 10-day course, your brain's gonna get super rewired. Abhishek has said for learning, I want to learn about and insert a topic. So what he's doing is he's giving us a format that you could use um, uh, to prompt. So for learning, insert the topic. So you could put in your topic there, identify and share the most important 20% of the learning from this topic. That'll help me learn 80%. So this is again a format that you can use for self-learning a particular concept, follows the Pareto principle of 80-20. So really, what we wanted to show you today was not just a prompt and not just a response, but how you can just keep thinking, how you can make AI as a positive, maybe even continuous contributor. Uh, this is like the Vodafone dog that always follows you. So I'm not saying outsource all your thinking to it, but I'm saying that you don't have to wait to be inspired anymore. You could always get a starting point, and that could probably take you to greatness. So I hope you had a good time today. As usual, I think the team from SAR may throw out a poll. If they do, you know what to do. If they don't, go enjoy Holi and have fun and think about how you can use ChatGPT to make your life and other lives around you easier and better. All right, have fun.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was truly inspiring session. A big thank you for sharing such informative and practical points with us today. And thank you for all the participants, your active participation in today's session. We hope you found it engaging and insightful. So before we wrap up, wishing each one of you a very happy Holi. May your life be filled with color, joy, and learning. A quick update. Tomorrow's session has been rescheduled to 5th of March, the day after tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss out on the valuable insight we have lined up for you. So see you soon.